This next story you're about to listen to is quite a horrible one, so I do have to pre-warn each and every one of you, but nevertheless, we have a lot of hate being spread in our world today, and that's thanks to social media. I think the world would look very, very different if we didn't have social media today because it's amplified a lot of messages, a lot of education, or more or less indoctrination, I should say, has been spread in our world today. A lot of videos, photos, voice notes, you name it, they're being spread far and wide. And young kids are sadly watching it, being indoctrinated by it, and believing in false narratives. They don't have the brain capacity or the critical thinking ability at a young age to be able to look at something online and be able to distinguish between whether or not it is real or it's fake. And sadly, so many young kids have taken their own lives because of bullying online. And well, now with this story, you've got a lot of young kids that hate white people. You've got a lot of Muslim boys that are being taught to hate their fellow man. Because guess what? Quran tells the young boy that if you see someone that is different to you, if they're not Muslim, you must hate them, especially if they're a white Christian boy. So I'm hated for being a straight, white Christian man. According to the Quran, I am an infidel. I'm not supposed to exist, according to the Quran. And any Muslim that takes me as a friend is committing some level of apostasy, right? They're committing some level of sin. So I can't be a friend to a Muslim, or a Muslim can't have me as a friend. How about that, right? Disgusting. But more than that is the messaging that the Quran says for Muslims to end the lives of Christians and Jews. That's in there too. And unfortunately, a Muslim teen was found guilty recently of murder after stabbing a white British boy, 15 years old, at their school. Now, because they're 15 years old, we can't reveal their identities, but we do know that it was a Muslim teenage boy. A Muslim teenage boy has been found guilty of murder for stabbing white British student Harvey Wilgoose to death during a fight at their school in Sheffield, England. So we can know the 15-year-old victim, his name, but we can't know the one that stabbed Harvey. The 15-year-old stabbed Harvey, who was also 15, in the heart with a hunting knife during their lunch break at All Saints Catholic High School on February 3rd. What in the world is a Muslim boy doing at a Catholic high school in the first place? That's my first question. And secondly, what in the world is a 15-year-old boy doing with a hunting knife at school? The murderer cannot be named because of his age, but the British corporate media have also refused to mention his Pakistani Muslim background. He admitted manslaughter and possessing a knife, but pleaded not guilty to murder, leading to a month-long trial in the Sheffield Crown Court, where a jury on Friday found him guilty with a majority verdict on 11-1. BBC News reported. I mean, 11 people found him guilty, but one person didn't. Gee, that should sing alarm bells, shouldn't it? After the verdict, which was greeted with cheers of yes by Harvey's family, the judge told the murderer he will likely be sentenced in October. The jurors watched CCTV footage of the stabbing, which showed the two students arguing in the school courtyard before the murderer pulled out a knife and stabbed Harvey in the chest. Kind of reminds you of that other case in America. The black kid attacked the white kid, Christian white kid, stabbed him to death. Who brings a knife to not only a track meet, but the school, for goodness sake? Like, you get into an argument nowadays and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if they've got a knife or what. But who does that? You don't bring a knife to school to defend yourself. You bring a knife to school to use the damn thing. That's concerning, isn't it? 15 years old, a child no less. A kid. And that is what I was saying a moment ago. Like these kids, just here in Australia, you've got young kids going around in gangs nowadays, causing a great deal of havoc and chaos. They don't care. They've got no care for rule of law whatsoever because there's no punishment. They don't care because they get let off. The cops can't do anything, especially here in Australia. And you end up with cases like poor Harvey. When is it going to stop? The force of the stabbing severed Will Goose's rib. Poor kid. The murderer tried to argue that he did not intend to kill his victim or cause him serious harm. That's why you pulled out a knife, isn't it? That's not an argument, mate. Very, goodness me. And claimed he was the victim of racial abuse, social media taunts over a medical condition, and bullying. Right. So that gave you the right, did it, to bring a knife to school and then attack poor Harvey and kill him. Now, the leftists, dingbats, will obviously side with him and say, oh, he was a victim of racial abuse. Social media taunts over a medical condition. What medical condition? And bullying. Seems like the only bully here is the one that brought the knife. He also claimed he was neglected and physically and emotionally abused at home. Well, hello, he's coming from a Muslim family. Pakistani Muslim family. What do you expect, man? And told the court he did not remember the deadly stabbing, only that he snapped and lost control. What you get at home is usually how you reciprocate out in the real world. What you see in the home is how kids will usually act out. That's why the family is so vital these days. In statements made after the verdict, the Crown Prosecution Service and South Yorkshire Police both issued warnings about knife crime. Oh, here we go. Yeah, knife crime. Stop it. Like here in Australia, in Melbourne, they spent $13 million, ladies and gentlemen, $13 million on 40 machete bins. We are a laughing stock. A laughing stock. $13 million of taxpayer, my money, spent on something that no one is going to use. They honestly think that people that have machetes are going to go to any one of those 40 bins and just drop it off willingly. I would have loved to have been in the room when they mentioned that. You know what they're doing? You know what it seems like? It's money laundering. Who in the world gets that 13 million? It's $300-something thousand per bin. Per bin. And yet these dingbats want to give us lectures about knife crime. No. It's not the knife's fault. That is the sign of a very low IQ dingbat, I'll have you know. You have a mental health problem. That's what you've got to deal with. Chris Hartley of the CPS said, very sadly, knife crime continues to be an awful blight on local communities, leaving people completely devastated by the senseless loss of young lives. Gee, I wonder why that is. Chris, no one seems to really understand the gravity of the entire situation properly. No, it's just all, let's blame the knife. I'm not going to fix anything. Let's try and get rid of all knives. Right. Okay, kitchen knife. What about a bat? What about a cane? What about a book? You can use anything nowadays. A pen, for goodness sake. Oh, now we'll ban everything. Anything that can be used as a weapon. We'll basically put everyone under a bubble, a dome. Goodness me, these people are never going to learn, are they? They're just virtue signaling dingbats. We would like to express our huge sympathies for family and friends of Harvey Wilgoose. We hope that these guilty verdicts bring some comfort to the Wilgoose family and that justice has been served here today. CPS and South Yorkshire Police were able to prove that the defendant did not lose self-control but intended to deliberately attack 15-year-old Harvey. Well, there you go. Racial. He deliberately attacked 15-year-old Harvey, killing the poor kid. The victim will always try and make themselves, well, the one that commits the atrocity will always try and make themselves out to be the victim in this case. We remind teenagers that there can be horrendous and serious consequences of carrying knives. It has been proven that if you carry these weapons, you are more likely to use them or to be a victim of a knife crime. You're putting yourself and other people and your future at risk. Please stop carrying knives and stop putting other people's lives in danger. Yeah, sure, that's really going to work. Please stop. I don't know what goes through these people's brains. Please stop. Think about other people's lives. You really think they're going to care? Detective Inspector Joe Hackworthy, Deputy Senior Investigations Officer of this case, said, "This trial has been a heartbreaking reminder of the devastation knife crime causes in our communities." Yeah, knife crime, not mental health. We've got to deal with that. It's knife crime. It tears lives and families apart, and that has never been more evident than in this tragic case. Tonight, one boy's family will be spending another night grieving the unimaginable loss of their beloved son, while another boy's family will be living with the reality that their son faces a life sentence behind bars for murder. All it took was one split second. All it took was for this young kid to hate a white boy. He's white and he's a Muslim kid, being taught, indoctrinated, lashed out. Intentionally went after Harvey, killed poor Harvey. Harvey could still be alive today if we didn't have hateful messages that are being taught, not just in the home, but on social media. Because eventually you're going to get a very vulnerable mind, like the Muslim boy, that, like what happened with Tommy Robinson recently, you get taught to hate. What usually happens? What comes after that? Hate is a disease. It spreads rapidly and it destroys everything in its path. You can only stamp out hate with love. And unfortunately, these days, the mainstream media, very good at hate, very good at spreading lies, and very good at destroying innocence. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm praying for poor Harvey Wilgoose's family. I'm sure that they are devastated by this. Absolutely disgusting. But you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.